Jab runs on the beach.
Hey Terry, you know Jonathan's going to stop out for the JS report. I know he's still taking that Bartlett loss pretty tough, so go easy on him this week.
Kind of hurt me too.
All right, this week on the JS report for West 10 Media, I have a special Mr. Football finalist for the state of Tennessee, Mr. Rosella Hernandez. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
And talk about the season so far, our season. Y'all finished the year strong. Y'all finished the year 10-2 on this season, I believe, right?
Yes, sir.
So I know y'all got some great wins to start the year against Christian Brothers and MUS. Let's talk about those two wins against the quality of the program in those two schools.
Man, those wins were great, man. Coming from Christian Brothers, we were down at halftime, but I just feel like the way this team fought throughout the whole season, I feel like it was all just great. It was all great.
Talk about like the district games in general. I call it I know the Division II private schools, they have the SEC schedule themselves, but this is part two, in my opinion, of the SEC region. With the SEC East and the SEC West, with Cordovas, the Cairvilles, the Bartletts, the Arlingtons, the Whitehaven area, pretty much just to name a few of them. But he's talking about that region, how you're excited to be part of that region.
Man, it was great, like starting with the student sections, just the energy, the amount of fan base that it has, it's just all great. Like, it's all very exciting. How each team, you never know who's going to win because of how good each team is.
Talk about a favorite memory of this past season.
My favorite memory, it has to be Whitehaven game. Man. Coming, like we were losing at like 10 seconds left. It was all just crazy.
Were you guys like? I know that lateral, everybody was like freaking out, like, oh my God, what's going on right now?
Yes, sir.
But just going in, was the game at Whitehaven?
Yes, sir.
So the game going into Whitehaven, especially being part of that, going into the Haven, as they call it, one of the toughest places to play, and getting that win is a historic moment for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you have another, like, other than your senior year, like a historic moment going like from freshman to junior year?
Most definitely. My favorite memory, it was actually when I scored a winning extra point against Whitehaven last year also. But yeah, that's
Pretty it.
Yeah, really Whitehaven games are always the most exciting games to play.
Favorite rivalry?
Favorite rivalry?
I'm putting you on the spot because you got two of them.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie. We have a lot of rivalries. It's like we're always the most hated, but it really has to do with Whitehaven and Christian Brothers.
No Houston, no Cairville?
Oh, Houston, most definitely. Houston, most definitely. Yeah, Houston. I forgot about Houston, but yeah, that's also one of the biggest ones too.
Yeah, I told a lot of players, like Chandler Day, for example, from Germantown or Houston. He's a pitcher on the baseball team as well. But I'm glad that Germantown Houston game is back on the schedule.
Yes, sir.
Because it's the Battle of Germantown. There's talk that Germantown might be closing this year. Time will still tell. But just talk about what the Germantown High School, the administrators, to Gene Robinson, your head football coach, the last 2 seasons. Just talk about what he's done for you.
Man, they've done a lot for me, honestly. Germantown shows a lot of love. Honestly, it's just a great school coming from administrators all the way up to coaches. They're always there to help. They're always there to help you become a better person. Strive for best.
What's Gene Robinson like? His impact helped you out?
His impact on me, it was more like he helped me actually take the sport serious, and he also helped me like develop as a player and as in character. Great coach.
Just talk about what's next for you.
What's next for me? I'm looking forward to playing as a kicker in college. So far that's what I'm looking forward to, and majoring in business.
And then you got soccer also, right?
Oh yes, sir. I also play soccer for Germantown High School. I played last year.
we expect to him see a kick from his side of the goal to the other side of the goal into the net one day. You know, just talking about how important you got some media people behind you as well regarding that Mr. Football finalist as well.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited about that. You know, I was actually surprised I was caught up, man. Like coming from like, you know, most people didn't know me at first, and it's like it's all just so great. It's great to see, man. Makes me happy.
You and Max done a little bit of trash talk.
We haven't. Well, we spoke about it. Like we're both very excited. You know, we went out to get some kicks in, and yeah, we're both very excited about being the ones to come out of Memphis
Right.
up to Nashville for Mr. Tennessee Football World.
Toughest team that it was hard to prepare for.
Like
For example, yeah, like
as a kicker.
yeah.
Well, I'm not gonna lie to you. The student section that did the most trash talking to me was Ravenwood. Ravenwood, in the playoff game, man, it was crazy, dude. Like the chants and all that stuff.
I'm glad, you know, in general, that y'all get that upset first of all, you know, because a lot of people counted y'all out in that game as well.
Yeah, most people thought we were gonna, you know, they were the top team in the region, so it's like everyone was expecting for us to be knocked out in the first round last year.
Absolutely, and I think, you know, if anybody wants to go see him play soccer this coming up spring, please go out and support the kids, because if it wasn't for this guy, Mr. Hernandez, being a Mr. Football finalist, you know, and support the Germantown High School football team. You know, a lot of players do play two sports these days, so please go out and support him in soccer this year. Good luck the rest of your senior year.
Thank you.
I appreciate what you've done. All right, guys, my take one this week. We have some Mr. Football finalists from this area. I do want to give a special shout out to Ozil Hernandez from Germantown. He's a kicker who I had the privilege of talking to this past week. And congratulations to Mr. Ozil Hernandez on being a Mr. Football finalist as well. Kamaro Brown from Mace from Winnie. 2A, you got Jaquan Davis from Fairleigh. 3A, Mark Joseph from Sheffield. And Division II AAA, you got the TCU commitment and Max Carroll. And then the kicker, you got two local players for that one. You got Max Gilbert, who we had on last week from Lausanne. And then, like I just talked about, we got Ozil Hernandez from Germantown. So good luck to all the finalists for Mr. Football. The Mr. Football finalists will be announced next week, and we'll do a little bit of a recap later on that day as well regarding on who won. All right, guys, my take two this week. Let's do a little bit of a sad note from all of our local teams and a little bit of our coverage area as well. But they just fell short of one game at the beginning of the state championship. Covington lost 41-15 to East Nashville. McKenzie shut out Mace 34-0. First of all, congratulations to Coach Kirby and the Chargers on a great season, and to the coaches and the players as well. Coach Miller, Mace, nothing to be ashamed of as well. Only one loss on the year, and that was to McKenzie in that semifinal game, 34-0. Pearl-Cohn 53, Haywood 47. Good year for Coach Smith as well and the Haywood football team. They only had one loss on the year as well to a talented team in Pearl-Cohn in that one as well. And as a Bartlett alum, great season for the Bartlett High School Panthers. They lost 50-39 to a great team in Beach out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, who could possibly pull the upset over Oakland this Saturday night in Chattanooga. So that is my recap for this past week. All right, my take three this week. Terry's going to be joining me to talk about the Bartlett Beach recap from this past week. But first of all, we're going to be talking about the state championship games in general this week, because they play on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Thursday, you got the private schools. Friday, you got the 3A, 1A, and 5A games. Then Saturday, you got the 4A, 2A, and 6A in that order on Saturdays. But first of all, on Thursday, you got CPA playing CPA 8-5 versus Liscombe Academy. Today, first of all, interesting news came out today that Trent Dilford, Liscombe Academy, football coach is stepping down right after this football game and taking the UAB job. So that'll be an interesting matchup for CPA just because maybe CPA can catch Lipscomb Academy a little bit off guard, although Lipscomb Academy is that powerhouse in that division.
Yeah. I mean, it does throw you for a loop. You know, maybe the coaches leading like that, you know, on the recruiting side of it. But hopefully they'll all, you know, kind of band together and play for themselves, you know.
Absolutely. Friendship Christian 12-0 versus Nashville Christian 10-2 in the AA Division II matchup. And then the game that a lot of local teams are familiar with in Division II AAA, you got NBA 12-0 versus Baylor on at 7 p.m. on a Saturday or Thursday night as well. That could be an interesting matchup just because they're familiar with each other. You know, NBA's undefeated, but to me, Baylor has that high power offense as well, where it could upset the Big Red in NBA.
Yeah, really, you know, powerhouse schools, you know, with a lot of history. Should be a real entertaining game.
And then on Friday, you got, like I said, the 3A matchup. You got Alcoa 13-1 versus East Nashville 12-2. And you know Alcoa has always been a powerhouse in Florida East Tennessee, where they play East Nashville, who beat Covington last week. And that game could go either way, in my opinion. You agree?
Yeah.
Clay County versus McKenzie. McKenzie's still undefeated, 14-0. So Clay County is going to be looking. They're 13-1. They're definitely going to be trying to give McKenzie that first loss in the state title game. And McKenzie's defense stood out last week against Mace and only held Mace to 0 points and held Kamara Brown, a Mr. Football finalist, intact as well, it looked like in that one.
Yeah, very impressive.
And then in 5A, you got Knoxville West 14-0 versus Page 12-2. In 5A, Knoxville West, as you know, is a pretty much powerhouse as well.
Yeah.
So that game could go either way. And then on Saturday, we got Anderson County 14-0 versus Pearl Cone 12-2. Pearl Cone, like we talked about, went into Haywood and beat Haywood 53-47. With the history of Pearl Cone, I can see them probably pulling that and being a state champion.
Yeah.
Tyler Academy 13-1 versus Riverside 12-2. And then you got Oakland 13-1 who plays Beach 13-1. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about that game with you just because Beach ended up coming into Bartlett last week and beating Bartlett 50-39. But that game could really go either way as Oakland has been a favorite in Middle Tennessee over the years. They have definitely took the ladder over Maryville in the state championship game. And, you know, Oakland is Oakland. Like Chris McDaniel from Christian Motors, like those days from his days as well, how he held Oakland pretty well. But just talk about the Beach Bartlett game just because Beach has that slower running back that ran over 300 yards against Bartlett last week.
Yeah, that's, you know, they'll have to stop Darius, you know, if they can. Nobody's been able to stop him so far. He came in, you know, he's a real patient runner, really strong. He gets a little hole and exploits it. And then when he gets into the secondary, he's just barrels through. A very impressive runner. Of course, Bartlett held up. You know, they were down 21-0, you know, and he had scored 3 times. And it was like, what's going on, you know? And they got it together. Ragland, you know, Bragland started moving them down the field. They scored. Everything went wrong that could go wrong in the first half. But they regrouped. It was an extremely impressive comeback. Bartlett showed a lot of heart. Their defense is just really, I mean, you can't say enough about them. And they ended up, you know, making a game of it, got ahead.
I don't know. I thought about
just kind of ran out of gas, I guess, you know. But extremely impressive performance to come back like that.
Yeah, I think so also, just because, like you said in your article with Coach Tucker, that people can read on the newspaper or just online in general, the Bartlett Express. But the guys never fought. I mean, they never quit. I mean, I'm sorry. But they just showed a lot of poise, even down, what was it, 30? What was the score at half?
35-13.
Yeah, 35-13 at half. And they just really never gave up. And they knew like for example, Matt Gord, the defense coordinator, brought up to me this past weekend. He says he brought up the New England Patriots versus I believe it was the Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
So anything could have happened, back then because, hey, the Patriots Falcons game was 28-3 at half.
Right.
But no problem for everybody on defense for the Barley Panthers should be back next year as a senior. You got your interception. You got an interception last week.
Yeah.
For Mr. Rinkin.
Yeah, he did. He got one.
So you got a lot of high power players on offense still returning as well. You got Snap coming back. You got a lot of good players on both sides of the ball coming back. So if Barlow wants to make a deep run, they just got to stay healthy like they did all year. And to me personally, like we talked about, I think also Beach had to control the time of possession as well in that game against Bartlett.
Yeah, they never threw the ball. I mean, they, it was just all running. And down 35-13, what you had to do was stop that offense, and they did in the second half. And the interception by David Milburn, early in the third quarter after they had come back and scored to start the second half was huge. It got them within striking distance. There was a lot of momentum. The crowd got into it, and they kind of rolled from there. They scored 26 unanswered, took the lead, and really it set up great. 4 minutes left in the game. Ragland had a chance to drive his team down and score the winning touchdown, and it didn't happen. But it was a great, valiant effort. I mean, everybody on that team was just really pouring their heart into it, and it was really fun to watch. And you got to be proud of those kids.
Nothing to be ashamed of, where you basically are semifinals for the second time in 3 years. Mm-hmm. And that's quite an accomplishment for Coach Tucker and the team in general.
Yeah.
And, hey, like a former coach used to say, tough schedules get your team ready for your district play and your postseason run.
Right.
I've known 2 coaches over the years that have always said that memo, or 3 coaches, on a matter of fact, who have always said that memo can get their guys ready. So, nothing to be ashamed of if you're a Bartlett Painter this week. You just fought and fell 1 game short, basically.
Right.
And I'll be right back with Thomas Sellers, who was actually at the game as well, next take as well. My to be continued to take 3. Thomas, you got to see a special player that I interviewed over the weekend as well, and Deshaun, Mr. Cochran, for the receiver core that is going to be a senior, or is a senior right now for the Bartlett Painters, who could easily get a lot of offers by just showing off in that Beach game on how special he really is to that Painter offense.
Yes, and I can't wait till everybody hear what he had to say when you caught up with him. And, a leader, a senior leader, and he's handed over in good hands with Snap Reed and the explosive offense. You just got to get another distributor. Braylon did an excellent job this year of getting them that downfield threat and using weapons like those 2 to have Bartlett have a very special season. I tell people this, only one team in the state of Tennessee can say we beat the Bartlett Panthers, and that's Beach. Germantown beat them, but they got them back. And Hoover, we know the months they are nationally. So great season, nothing to be ashamed of. The Panthers did a great job, like you said, 2 state semifinals in 3 years.
What are your thoughts of? I thought Georgia State got a steal, and Mr. Ragland as well.
Yeah.
So just talk about how much of a leader that he actually showed in that game to you as well.
I got a chance. I've been doing this 20 years, and I got the chance to see him play 3 times this year. And from the preseason, the Jamboree at Cart, it was at Houston. To see him, get used to his surroundings, his weapons, Coach Tucker, and his demanding play calling style, and just how he just, his compassionate way of conveying things to his players, and how he always stayed calm. It's like they were the perfect odd couple for each other. It's like he was the extension of Coach Tucker out there on the field, and to balance his running game and his passing game, he did an excellent job. And he has the prototypical size, arm, and measurables that are going to make him a success. I wouldn't be surprised if we hear his name called like a Malik from Liberty in a couple of years as a steal in the draft, NFL draft.
Good call. I also want to bring up, me and you have talked about a lot of teams are putting their schedule together for their football season next year.
Yeah.
How important is it to go ahead and schedule these games now? Because a lot of games are filling up as we speak.
Well, you get a reputation real quick. You have a great season, people want to avoid you. If you have a bad season, people might, see you as a liability. The league changes, so to get these showcase games and get that, as coaches talk about, you have to play certain ones. Let's say you're in the 16 league, you got 5 games out of so you got to schedule 5 games, and you need to get out there ahead of everybody else and be first in line to get those matchups. And don't be afraid to play another juggernaut and test how good you are, because like you just said, those coaches talk about a tough schedule prepares you for November. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there on the line, but don't go crazy if you're a 3A team trying to schedule a 6A.
Yeah. I do want to say, if this is going to be our last year with Germantown High School in general, I do want to give all the athletes a lot of love as well across the city of Germantown as well for Germantown High School.
Coach Robinson and them,
Gene Robinson did a heck of a job this past year regarding that as well. And if this is the last year of Germantown High School, it will definitely be a shame to me personally, because of me growing up, being the part of high school days too, as well, watching games at Germantown.
Red Devils state championships.
Yeah.
There's a lot of history that would be closing.
Coach Harrison.
Yeah, and Coach Netherland, you name it, a lot of greats have been on that field that played and coached. And to see that institution, that's what it is, an institution, be closed would be just a huge disservice to not only Shelby County, but the state of Tennessee.
Absolutely. So that's my to be continued take 3.
All right, this week on the JS Report, I got a special guest who senior year ended pretty quick, or last Friday night against Beach, but C4, Deshaun, appreciate your time, man.
I'm glad to be here.
Deshaun, just talk about the season in general. How when y'all saw that schedule come out earlier in the season, y'all saw Hoover on the schedule. You're like, we're going to Hoover, Alabama, play Powerhouse Hoover. Just talk about how that Hoover game got y'all, the mindset for the rest of the season as well.
Going down there, I was never scared, but I feel like my team, they was kind of, they weren't scared, but they were nervous for the environment. But after seeing the first quarter, after seeing that we could hold up with them, I felt like we was gonna have a pretty good year. So it kind of boosted my confidence, and I'm pretty sure it boosted my teammates' confidence as well. So yeah, it was a good game.
I also think that win against Lausanne also kind of gave y'all some motivation as well.
Yeah, at the Lausanne game, people started looking at me a lot because of what I did, but I was just playing football, and my teammates was there. I had to pick my teammates up because Lausanne actually scored first, so I was like, I got to get the defense rolling, so I went back out there, did what I had to do, and that was that. And they did boost our confidence a lot.
Yeah, just talk about that, the rest of the season, like some key wins over Houston. Like some of your players even said, a lot of people counted this out before the season even started, like because of some unexperience and some experience as well at different types of positions. But how y'all are region champions? Talk about being a region champion.
Yeah, being a region champion, it feels good actually, because it feels good knowing that we won of all the teams that could have been the region champs. And I really wish we didn't lose to Germantown the first time. That was a tough game. But yeah, being region champs, it feels good.
Talk about a team that you enjoy playing the most over the last 4 years.
It gotta be, I'll say either Houston or Carterville.
All right.
Yeah. Last year I barely had a season. I got hurt second game. So it was either Houston or Carterville.
Those are good choices right there. And just because the way that those two schools are getting a lot of good athletes out of that school these days too. Just talk about how Coach Tucker and the other coaching staff basically grew you as a person in general the last 4 years.
Yeah. My ninth grade year, I didn't really know nobody. I had just transferred to Portland. So I just came out there, did what I had to do. I know I was gonna play varsity in ninth grade. Then my 10th grade year, I kind of bumped up. I worked my way up, and Coach Lance was there to motivate me, tell me that I was gonna be something good at football. So my 11th grade year, I was ready, but unfortunately, I got injured, and then Coach Lance he just kept uplifting me. And then my senior year, he gave me one last talk. It was the Haywood scrimmage. He gave me a good talk in front of everybody. And then it just kind of made me realize that I had to step up and that it was my time to be a ball player.
What's next for you during the spring? You think you're still gonna do like track?
Yeah, I'm doing track for Bartlett, and I might do indoor for Bartlett as well. So yeah.
So just talk like, were you part of that state tournament team for track?
Yes, sir. I actually have a ring, and it's at home. But yeah, I was a 10th grader, and I ran in a 4x1. I believe we got 4th place.
But congratulations on that milestone as well. I know I enjoy watching two-sport athletes because it can give them something to do in their off time after one sport, you know, especially like yourself doing track. So, hey man, so what does the future look like for like a player like yourself?
I hope that I play college football. I really hope I do. It's always been a dream of mine, and I actually want to run track as well.
So you want to do both?
Yeah, if I can do both, I'll do both.
So you want to be like a little Calvin Austin out there?
Yes, sir.
Man, good luck to you your senior year, the rest of the year. As a Bartlett alum, I appreciate everything that you've done for the Bartlett community as well, and being a Bartlett football player. Brought back some great memories, man. So keep up the good work on the track, and good luck the rest of your senior year, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Guys, take forward a little bit of a basketball preview for this week. If anybody wants to go out and watch some basketball, first of all, I know Bartlett boys and girls basketball team is traveling to Texarkana, Texas this weekend, so safe travels to them and good luck to their games. I mean, good luck in their games as well as this week. And Coach Gales and the Cordova Wolves are also hosting the Lupus Classic in honor of Coach Gales' wife, and they're hosting Bolton Friday night. If anybody wants to go out and watch Cordova and Bolton basketball game on Friday night, go out and support the Wolves and the Bobcats in that one at 7:30 Friday night. Thomas will be there Saturday, and I'll try to make a little bit of an appearance as well. But the Brighton tournament that Coach Stan Gatlin puts together every year, and he does a great job by putting a lot of local teams and out-of-town teams in this tournament as well. This Saturday, you got an 11 o'clock matchup between Covington versus Memphis Central. 12:30, a battle of Millington Trojans versus the St. George Griffins. That game could be very good and interesting in that one as well. 2 o'clock, you got Darlington Tigers versus NBA. 3:30, you got the Mumford Cougars versus Wingfield High School. I believe they're from Mississippi. And then 5 o'clock, you got Ripley versus Memphis Hamilton. And then at 6:30, you got Fayette Ware versus Harding Academy. And then Coach Stan Gatlin and the Brighton Cardinals versus MHEA, which is a Memphis homeschool powerhouse in the Memphis area as well, who had Justin Morgan a couple years ago. And maybe I can get a little bit of a recap from Jason Williams, the assistant coach from that one as well for the MHEA homeschool. So if anybody wants to go out and watch some basketball this week, please go out and support the kids. And buy some concessions from the Booster Club as well regarding that one as well. And we'll look forward to you next week on the JS Report.
Okay, I'm confused. Was I in take 4 or take 3? We'll figure it out. I could have sworn he said take 4. I guess it was take 3, but yeah, it doesn't matter. But to close out this week's JS Report, it is basketball season, but we do have the Liberty Bowl All-Star Game coming up in a week. And like Jonathan said, I'll be out there at Brighton at the Ricky Fane Classic. And Ricky Fane passed away this year, a legend in Tipton County in athletics. And Coach Gatlin wanted to give him flowers while he was still here. And we have photos and evidence of him being appreciated and loved by the community of Tipton County, especially Brighton. And Coach Stan Gatlin, who girls basketball, boys basketball, state tournament run, played a tough East team a few years ago led by Penny Hardaway. A great coach in this area, but also understands legacy and history of the game and always pays tribute to that. That's why a lot of great teams are going to come this Saturday to play in the tournament. But it is getting time to transition fully over to basketball. But good luck to all the teams up in Chattanooga. May the best team win. And then to our elite players that will be on the field of MUS on December the 10th at 2:30. We want to give a shout out to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, how they do a great job of putting on that game for the kids so they can get, college looks all week long, so we can have more signing stories for y'all. So football season, we're about to put a nice bow on it. Jonathan's going to keep a close eye on who's going to be Mr. Football. Hopefully we have a few of those trophies coming back to represent West Tennessee. But great year. And hey, like Jonathan said, we see you next week for the Jazz Report.